Well, welcome to another episode of the Entrepreneur's Voice Show. Today we have as our guest the owner and founder of
Creepy Creatures, Pest and Wildlife Busters.
this is Mr. Dusty Showers, Florida's premier humane wildlife trapping company. If you live in the Pinellas, Hillsborough, and what other counties? Pasco counties in Florida, and you're hearing sounds in your attic, may have seen some evidence of some nuisance outside, or may have an animal out in the yard, but those things may be up in your attic: possums, rats, raccoons, anything of that nature that you want to safely remove from your home, you definitely want to give Dusty a call. So we're going to visit with Dusty. Thank you for coming on with us today. I want to talk about this subject. In Florida, how big of issue is, things getting into people's homes and so forth that can become a nuisance and a safety hazard?
It's actually a big business, and it's a big niche business. So we're kind of like the cousin of the pest control industry. So while I'm a licensed pest control company, I'm not a traditional pest control company. So I tend to deal with a lot of things that they don't deal with. But when I learned to do this 22 years ago, I worked for a company in Chicago that was making $1 million a year just doing this. And up there during the winter, they don't have much business. So today it's even bigger business than it used to be.
That's interesting. I didn't realize you're a pest control, licensed pest control company, but they're typically then going to deal with spiders, bugs, things of that nature. Specifically, what is it that you can help people with? I named off a couple of things that I just kind of assumed, but is there anything else that you can deal with?
A lot of my phone calls start off with, I don't know who to call. And so if you don't know who to call, then I get that phone call. Pest control companies are great, but they tend to be very route-based. So each month it's the same thing. It's walking, and I'm generalizing, but walking around just spraying. Being a wildlife specialist involves getting up on roofs, we're crawling through attics, we're crawling underneath homes, problem solving. So you're dealing with an animal that thinks. And raccoons are very smart. So we get a lot of raccoons in attics, rats in attics, possums. The list of things that I typically deal with: raccoons, rats, bats, skunks, possums, groundhogs, armadillos, beavers, and some of those are more up north when I worked up there. But there's so many different things: yellow jackets, cicada killers. So things that traditional pest control companies don't deal with. And a lot of them are thinking animals, so you have to think like this animal.
Wow. Now, you work in Florida. I'm thinking gators.
Yeah.
Do you deal with gators?
No.
Okay.
I've dealt with them in the past, typically when they're injured, but I'm not licensed for gators, so I can't deal with them. And I'm kind of okay with that. I would love to have the ability to, but typically when gators are being removed from a property where they're a nuisance, they have to be killed. And I don't want to go to work every day knowing I have to be killing alligators. It's a necessary job, but I don't know if I want that job.
I get it. So I understand the difference then. So the reason why, even I was checking out your Facebook page earlier, you really are focused on the humane treatment of these animals. So you can really get rid of them from the home without having to destroy them.
Yes. Yeah. Rats are typically the exception. And while rats can be caught live and relocated, nobody wants rats to be relocated onto their property. And the truth is, people typically don't want to pay for that service because it does tend to cost a little bit more. But everything else, raccoons and possums and squirrels, and there's live trapping, which is typically called humane. But what people don't realize is when you relocate these animals, statistically, most of them don't survive because they have to go into a new environment, find a home, find food, create a territory. So just because you say I'm live trapping something doesn't necessarily mean it's humane. So what I try to focus on is how can we make these animals leave that attic and go somewhere else. So it's typically called exclusions. So you either set up a one-way door so they leave but can't get back in, or you just create such chaos for them that they decide that it's just easier to pick up and leave. But especially in the spring, but in Florida it can happen year round, but especially in the spring, these animals can have babies. So you don't want to set up a one-way door where the mother can leave, but she can't get back to her baby. So there's a lot to consider. Because you can leave 3 to 5 babies, raccoon babies, in an attic. That's going to cause a big problem. It could take up to 2 weeks for them to die. And in the meantime, you just hear this miserable crying and moaning and just, it's very sad. So you want to make sure that you hire somebody that truly understands that.
That I would have never thought about that.
Yeah.
That's
then when
incredible.
they die, it's an even bigger problem.
Yeah, I can
flies and smell.
Oh man, I can only imagine. So when you hear that sound in the attic, make that phone call real quick. What's the number they can call right now? I mean, if they're listening, because I'm sure people are saying, I hear some noises.
Yeah, 727-488-5657. You can also text me and I can get right back to you as well. And while we're on the situations that deal in attics with problems, so many people have heard that poison makes rats thirsty and they go outside for water and they die. So they put poison up in their attic, or they have a pest control company that told them that, and they put that up there. And then the rats end up dying up there. There's no poison that does that. So the number one way to deal with rats in an attic, an active infestation, is to use trapping. Don't ever believe that there's a poison that makes rats thirsty so they go outside for water and die.
That is an important point. Reiterate that. He just said there is no poison that creates thirst for them to leave. Don't believe the myths. Don't believe the hype. Trap the animals and then dismiss them or discard them accordingly after trapping.
Yep.
Okay. I'm just curious because I don't have an affection for the type of work that you do. This is just not my thing.
I respect that.
But I'm just curious, what made you get into this type of work? Well, I mean, what drove you to do this 20 years ago?
I think it's so funny because I get paid to do now at 44 years old what I did when I was 12 for free. But what happened, I've always been an animal lover as a kid. I would always try to save a dying rabbit or whatever it was. But I went to college to Northern Illinois on a soccer scholarship. I had no will to learn anything. Like classes, that's really going to get in the way of my college experiment. So I went to school as an All-American high school soccer player, scholarship. Soccer was great. Didn't really enjoy the classes, so I think I got a piranha first and an Oscar, so 2 carnivorous fish. And then that turned into a couple basilisk lizards, also known as Jesus lizards. They run on their back feet, run along water, so we used to race those up the hallways in the dorms. Then I got a monitor, which is a cousin of a Komodo dragon, a savanna monitor. And then I got kicked out of the dorms because my new roommate moved in, and his mom came in just as the monitor was running across the floor. So she's on the bed screaming, there's a dinosaur on the bed. I'm still at soccer training, so I wasn't there, but they just moved down from Long Island, and it wasn't a good experience. And eventually, between maybe a little bit of partying and the breeding of the pythons and everything, and I had Burmese pythons, reticulated pythons. At one point, I had 15 ball pythons, iguanas, everything. My apartment was a wreck. An awesome wreck. I had the best parties. People would fight over who got to hold the pythons and everything. But after my 3rd year, I had a falling out with my coach. I wasn't going to class. I was partying too much. And my mom found this job in the newspaper in the Chicago area. It said, learn to be a wildlife trapper. And I said, this is perfect. And I begged for the job. I started at $6.25 an hour. And I worked 90 hours a week the first summer, and I would come home smelling like a skunk. Got sprayed in the mouth one time.
Oh!
My eyes swollen shut from yellow jacket stings, raccoon urine on me, and I was in heaven. I said, there's no way I'm going back to school. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Wow, what a story. Okay, I never heard this story before. I've known Dusty for a little bit, and I would have never thought that. Okay, so you've been doing it for 20 years now, but I've got to deviate from animal trapping just for one quick second. Man, I'm digging this jacket.
Thank you.
That's a cool jacket. You're a big dude. You're an animal trapper, but you're wearing a pink jacket. Is there some kind of semblance, or is there a specific reason?
It's more comfortable than the pink bra. So
there you have it. I mean.
No, about 10 years ago, I went through some changes in life. I took a brief stint in real estate, and I was doing okay, making 6 figures. The market crashed just as I went through divorce, so I went from making 6 figures to $6. My marriage had dissolved, and I kind of hit that rock bottom place. And that was when I was invited to do a breast cancer event, and someone said, "You're wearing this pink bra," and I said, "I don't think so." So they talked me into it. I said, "I'll do it once." And then it made people laugh and smile and helped me kind of feel better about what I was going through in life. somebody said, if I custom make you a pink bra, will you wear it? Well, that's a little weird, but I guess I'll do it once. So I did it, and then someone else said, what if I make you one, will you wear it? Okay, I'll do it again. And then people started following me on MySpace, and I was doing all these different breast cancer events, and then it turned into Facebook, and I was going all over the country doing events for breast cancer, wearing pink bras. People were mailing me pink bras from all over the country.
Wow.
I've had I shouldn't say this, but Martine Gramatica has been in my bra numerous times. Evan Longoria of the Rays has worn my bra. I'm not going to say David Vanderchuck was in my bra, but he signed my bra. So Tim Gunn for Project Runway, I've been on Oprah, basically wearing a pink bra. I hugged her and kissed her, and it's really done some amazing things for me personally, and I've been able to give back to that community. Started an organization called The Second Baseman, where we fight breast cancer in unusual ways. And we help provide direct financial support to women and families affected with breast cancer. So if somebody wants to make fun of me for wearing a pink jacket or a pink bra, I got a rattlesnake, and they'll go see if they'll play with that. So I'm okay with that.
I have to just say, man, that's really touching, and I can appreciate where you're coming from. That's huge. So rock the jacket, man, and I'm gonna be a big fan. I'm already a fan. I mean, I'm checking it out. I'm like, this guy is up to something, and that's an incredible story. I'm glad to hear that you're so comfortable being able to do that, and that's for such a great cause. Again, when you want someone to come into your home, this is the kind of person that you want coming into your home, okay, or being around your family, because this guy cares. He cares about making sure the animals are safe, and he cares about humanity. So all I can say is thank you. Thank you for being you.
Pleasure.
Thank you for being you.
Thank you.
Click on the link below. When you have that nuisance, or someone else is having that nuisance, get them in touch with this guy right here. This is the only person that I would recommend to come out and help you with your nuisance issues with wildlife.
I don't deal with ex-wives or ex-husbands.
There you have it. He's got the pink on lock. He don't want to deal with anything else except for your wildlife.
I'm also trying to focus a lot more on dog, and like when I leave here, I go to Ybor City. I've got 2 kittens stuck in a brick wall, and then I go to St. Pete, where I've got a feral cat that's missing its lower jaw that nobody can catch. So I'm fortunate that I understand how to do these things, and they don't all come out with happy endings. But I'm trying to focus a lot of my time on the rescue side of it, and not just the nuisance business side of it.
So if you know somebody that's they need some help with their animals, the family pet and so forth, then that's a whole nother element. Get in touch. Click on the link, go to his website, text him. That's the quickest way you can get him, and he'll get out to your place. What kind of response rate can you provide to people?
It all depends, but try to do it the same day, but it depends on what's going on.
All right. You heard it here first on the Entrepreneur's Voice Show. Thank you for being such an incredible entrepreneur in our local area. Keep up the great work. We hope that more people get to hear the causes and plug right in with you and become part of what you're doing.
Great, Derek. And thanks for all the help you're giving me. I really appreciate it.
Hey, you're absolutely welcome. See you on our next show.